Good morning, it's January 24th, and today we're going to look at the markets overall from a big picture perspective because we saw a big down week last week. We saw a major pop yesterday. Today we're seeing softness in the market open, and a lot of people are asking, what do I do right now? So they might be looking to build positions, maybe they're worried and they want to exit. How do you use the technicals to do a little bit better on timing? So again, this isn't fundamentals, that's up to you to do your work. Although we might cover some in some education going forward, this is really the technical view. So here I'm giving you, I'm going to turn it on KISS view because that makes it in some ways simple to see some big picture trends. The SPY, so that's S&P, IWM, that's the Russell, so smaller caps, Qs, that's tech, EFA, that's developed ex-US. So a lot of them there is the Eurozone, UK, Japan, INDA, which is India, and EWJ, which is Japan. So these are ETFs that you can take a look at, and you can quickly see the white line for all of them is in between the green and the red. So that's telling me that we're trading within the trading ranges. So there's nothing, you really have to go out and think about right away from a trading perspective if you're looking to do something in terms of timing. But I do caution here, this one's getting the low end of the trading range, so we're coming back to that later. So it's close to that green line. But if I look at the SPY, what do I see? See a neutral trading range. We see the momentum signals, neutral, trading range dynamics. The low end's getting higher, the high end's getting higher, that's bullish. And so if you're looking to enter, you'd be wanting to see that white line closer to the green line there. But we'd caution because right now is not the time to be applying into this. Same with the Russell. Here you can see it's between the lines. We've got neutral. The signals, though, are a little bit different. You've got bullish and bullish. So it means that it's been moving up, and we can see that in a second when we compare the two different ranges. And then the low end's getting higher, the high end's getting lower. That's a bit of a squeeze. So here I've got the SPY, and what were we talking about? We were looking at the range. So you can see that sometimes the range is really, really wide, and sometimes it narrows. But guess what happened when it narrows a ton? It blows back out. So we're not seeing a very tight range here in the SPY. Obviously, it's right in the middle. There's nothing to do, as we talked about before. But let's compare that to the Russell. We talked about that the lower end of the range is moving up. And look at that, the higher end is moving down, so it's getting squeezed a little bit. And sometimes you see that happening. It narrows, it lasts for a little bit, and then it changes. So again, nothing to do on these two securities, but I do want to mention, like when you're looking at momentum indicators, how do you look at the difference between something bullish and bullish, so it's moving up? If we're looking on the KISS view, we can see where the low end and the high end's going, so it's narrowing versus both these things going higher. And the Qs, nothing to do, very similar circumstances, except for the medium term is neutral. Obviously had a hard time back in 2022. Tech has been rebounding here in 2023, so it's a little bit different there, but again, nothing to do. Same with EFA, although you get two bullish signals. It's more like the Russell, things that really didn't do well last year, taking off in the last few months. But I do want to point out India because that one's a little bit different, right? So let's take a look. It's bullish, so it's been moving up in a bullish formation, probably because everyone's been talking about the growth of India and how it's, obviously outpacing other parts of the world. But what I can see here that it's a bullish short-term and medium-term indicator, implied volatility premium, so that means that people are a little bit worried. So that's usually a better time if you're looking to enter. And again, we're hitting really close here, 42.24 versus a low end of 42.17 of the trading range. So if you're considering something in India, now's a pretty good time to be taking a look at it to say from a fundamental perspective, what do I think? And then hear from the technical. So the range odds is 9.3 to 1. That's way better odds to be heading up to the top end of the range than the bottom end of the range. And so that looks like a better timing. So again, it hasn't hit the bottom. But guess what usually happens when you hit the bottom? It goes up. So that's what I would look at for India, if in case you're taking a look at it. Japan's in the middle. It's a lot like the US, but you're seeing here huge bullish change. Obviously, there's been work on the yen done by the yield curve control of the BOJ, and so that's a little bit of what's happening. But also, there's a lot of people getting excited about China's reopening and how that could benefit other parts of Asia. So here, there's nothing to do, but range odds are basically 1-to-1. So you're really smack dab in the middle of the trading range. This isn't the time you'd be entering Japan. It's not the time to be getting rid of Japan. But when we look at this and look where we are and some big pictures around the world, the answer is nothing much to do right now except for India. If you have a fundamental view, if you're looking stocks there, or if you're looking to invest in the country, maybe that's the one I would take a look at. But don't get too scared when you see, yes, last week the market's going down, yesterday the market's going up. Try to keep your head, look at some of the technicals if you're looking to do something in a trade, and then say, okay, what is the actual data telling me versus my emotions in terms of timing? So today there's not much to do in many parts, and maybe one in a very fast growing part of the world. That's it for today. I'll talk to you tomorrow.